All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. Same system we've had previously. Please raise your hand for questions. We'll take one question per person and a related follow-up if you have it. We'll start with Nico Tamuri. Nico, go ahead.
Hey there, Coach. We appreciate your time today. Just wondering so far how much you've been able to look at Liberty. You know, we can look on paper and see, you know, they're undefeated, this, that, and the other thing. How different are they from last year when you saw them, and what are the challenges they present to you guys?
Well, I actually think they're better. They've got a transfer back from Auburn as their quarterback now. Very, very talented athlete, strong arm, very explosive legs. They use him in the run game, kind of similar to the guy at Georgia Tech and Louisville who we played last year. So they're going to be able to run a lot of +1 runs with the quarterback, put him on the perimeter. He's a guy that can take off on scrambles, and he could house call it on those type of things. They have a tailback that's really good, runs behind his pads extremely well, and then they have an explosive receiver. So between those three individuals on offense, they're extremely explosive. Their linebackers are really good on the defensive side of the ball. Their back end is good. Their secondary is athletic, more athletic than you'd normally find at a school like that, and they're going to be very comparable to our wide receivers. And they have a very dynamic pass rusher coming off the edge. Actually, they have two, a number 10 and a number 11. Both of them are really good. But they're a complete football team, and they're very athletic.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Nico. Next, we'll go to Darius Joshua from Channel 9.
How you doing, Coach? Just wondering, is there an update on Tommy DeVito? Is he still on crutches in a boot at this point?
Yeah, I would say that both those things you just said are true. And Tyler, I just lost my screen. I have a bunch of security updates and Safari and VLCs and all that other kind of stuff in front of me that I have no clue what's going on. But I can remember what you look like, Darius. So basically, there's no update. I've got to get back to the medical people, okay, and see where we're at. But I would leave it exactly the way I left it after the game.
Just quickly on that, what is kind of the mood of the team? It seemed like a lot of players kind of went down in that game against Duke, and on top of the injuries you already had going into the game.
You know, football's physical, and that's the part that makes us different from other sports, and it's the part that we embrace. And we understand that people are going to get hurt, and that next guys have to step up, and then eventually guys will get an opportunity to come back. But it's what makes the game unique. It's the reason why you love the game, and we love the game, and we accept that part of it.
Thank you, Coach.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Darius. Next, we're going to go to Dan Tortora.
Hey, Coach, how are you?
Good.
Just to look at, I mean, with the situation, like you said, with Tommy not looking good, as you said after the game, what can you say about Rex and what you've seen from him on film of the times that he's gotten to play this season? Just what your thoughts are on Rex at this point.
Well, I don't want to give away too much, Dan. I get the question, but you know, there's other ears listening as well when we talk about this stuff. But the thing that I will say is this: Rex has been with us from the beginning. You know, when I got here, he was a January signee with the previous class. Okay, and he was one of the guys that we definitely wanted to honor that scholarship and bring those three individuals in. He knows this offense as good as anybody. And it's just a matter of executing and doing things right and being consistent in what we do. So we feel like we have someone that has a lot of knowledge if he's going to go in there. Now we've got to decide if we're going to be able to execute and do the other things around him. And
then to kind of go off of that, just what you could say about, I know your other guys are redshirt freshmen, but in practice, just what you've seen from them as they develop and how they pushed each other, and, you know, maybe as a team, how these quarterbacks respond to knowing that they could be the guy that gets the call.
You know, first of all, you don't rep your number 3 quarterback. You don't rep your number 4 quarterback. You barely have time to rep your number 2 quarterback. So those guys we've seen a little bit, but we haven't had the normal scrimmages that we normally have because we don't have the depth, you know, at the offensive line and a bunch of other positions. So we haven't been able to bang those guys the way they really need to be banged. So we understand how they were out of high school. We understand that they didn't have an opportunity to do much during the fall in August. And we're slowly watching, you know, we've seen some glimpses of them on the scout teams when they're working with the defense, but that's different. Scout team is take the ball, throw it here, throw an interception, let the DBs catch it. You're functioning so the defense can prepare for an opponent, and you're not even running our plays. So this is a different week for those guys, and we'll get to see a little bit more of them and start to tune in on what they can and can't do.
Thank you, Dino. Good luck this week.
Thank you.
Next, we go to Mark Larson.
Hey, Coach. I want to go back to Tommy. You've seen the reports, I'm sure, that he's out for the season. Is there a chance that that's true?
First of all, I have not seen the reports, Mark. I haven't been on the internet and all that other kind of stuff. But we've had other guys that have been out for the season. I just haven't had the official report from the medical people. I saw him yesterday in the team meetings, and I'm waiting for the official report from the medical people.
And you expect that, like, soon, I would think?
By what time?
You expect it soon, that report?
Oh, I thought you said by noon. Yeah, I should know something by today. Yes, sir.
All right, just to follow up on that then, you know, obviously starting quarterback, it doesn't look good, as you said. Your team just got beaten by a team that was winless, and you're underdogs again this week. What would your message be to your team and to Syracuse fans, I guess, right now that might be thinking the season's over?
I would say think about Duke and what they did to us.
Thanks, Mark. Next, we'll go to Matt Hausworth.
Hey, Dino, I know, going into this season, it was probably going to be a bit of an uphill climb given, the players that you didn't have coming into the year. I guess 4 games in, where would you assess where this team is at and what you've noticed through those 4 games?
I think the biggest thing is you understand that when you're playing a pure ACC schedule, there's no breaks. And the injuries mount up, and you're getting younger and younger people playing who have not been developed in the weight room the way they need to be developed. And they're hitting guys that are bigger than them. And there's a big difference between 18 and 19-year-olds hitting guys that are 21 and 22. And that's the biggest difference. Their heart's there. They're normally the speed and the skill levels there, but the physicality of the game is what you have to match. And it's difficult when you're at that young age to be able to bang with some of those guys that are older. Now, that's not the excuse. That's just what we have to do, and we have to match the physicality. We got to dig down deep, and we got to find a way to match it.
Thanks, Dino.
Next, we'll go to Nate Mink.
Hey, Dino, after Saturday's game, I think someone asked you about what you can do to get the offense in a better position to start capitalizing on all the turnovers that your defense is giving you. And you used the phrase, we need to have a change in philosophy. I'm wondering what you meant by that, and if that is a short-term thing or a long-term deal.
I think it comes down that you need to gear everything towards your personnel. You can say that you want to do something in a business, but if you don't have the employees or the product to do it, it's just a thought. And we know things that work and things that have not been able to work. And I think you have to make sure that A, you're moving the program where you want to move it, and B, you're giving them the best opportunity to win. And then C, sometimes there's a balance between those two things, and then the head coach has to make the call. But those are the things that you're normally trying to get done. Where's the program heading, and what is your best opportunity to win at this moment?
So is the offense that you talked about in December 2015 when you arrived here, the offense you're committed to after this season and in the long term?
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Yep.
Next, we'll go to John Kikas from the Associated Press.
Hi, Coach.
Hey.
This season has been tough, not only for you guys, but for a lot of other teams in the league. Can you just put in perspective how difficult this season has been for you as a coach?
I just think it's been different. I don't look at it as negatives. I look at it as positive, as iron sharpens iron. One man sharpens another. And the 2020 year has been sharpening men all across this country, women and everyone else, even the young people with all the mental health problems that's going on in the young people's community. So I look at it as this is different. We need to adjust to the different parts of the things that are going on this year. And then you find a way to make the best of it and survive as you work to be better every single day.
So do you feel that maybe that's a reason why some of the other schools are also struggling whereas last year a couple went to bowl games and this year they don't seem like they have a good chance?
You know, I'm not trying to be rude. When you say other schools are struggling, I don't even know who you're talking about. I am
Okay.
so locked in on Syracuse University. I can't look anywhere else. I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough to look anywhere else but right here in Syracuse, New York.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks, John. Next, we'll go to Stephen Bailey.
Hey, Dino, and all the kind of craziness to end that Duke game with Tommy, I kind of missed Sean Tucker getting dinged up. Obviously, you're down to your fourth guy there, and he's been really promising. Can you kind of tell us how he's doing and what the backfield's kind of looking like coming into this weekend?
Still waiting to see what's going on with Sean. I think he's going to be okay. I think he's in better shape than Tommy, but I'm not a doctor. I'll get that report later on. And then we're going to adjust to whatever happens back there. And that's the way we're going to do it when our other guys didn't show up back there. Somebody will line up there and we're going to turn around and hand them the ball. And either we've seen him do some good things before, or we're going to be all sitting there waiting to see if he's going to do something that we've never seen before because it's a new guy.
I think it was late in camp. It might have been Nate who asked you, could you foresee a situation in which you were so low on players that, maybe you would think about not playing? I don't think you're at that point yet, but, through 4 weeks, how difficult has this been? And is there anything you can really compare it to in your career?
No comparison. I don't want to use the word frustration because I don't think if you didn't think this was going to be a different type of year, you were really pulling the wool over your eyes. It's going to be very unique. And for those who survive, they'll be stronger than ever. So the whole thing is not to quit, not to give up. Keep your knees bent, be ready to adjust and improvise, heartbreak ridge, okay? And when the smoke clears, still be standing. And there's some pride in still standing when this thing's all over because it's been a wild, wild ride.
All right. Thanks, Dino.
Thank you.
Next, we'll go to Danny Emmerman.
Hey, Dino. You mentioned earlier that Rex kind of he knows the offense as well as anyone, and he has a lot of institutional knowledge. In talking to people around him, they've kind of said that he has a really, really high football IQ. Is that something that you've noticed?
Rex is one of the smartest people I know, not only on the football field, but off the football field. I remember when I first got the job, I went to visit him. I was in Tampa, and I went to visit him at his home. And he was working, I want to say it was like I might be wrong, some kind of buggy. But like a desert buggy. What do you call those things where you're driving? It's all crazy. I can't think of the word right now. What is it? Dune buggy?
Like a dune buggy, yeah.
Yeah. So he's sitting in one of those things working on it, and I'm like, "Whoa, that's a nice thing. Where'd you buy that?" Blah 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 blah. And then the dad told me that he built it from the ground up. I mean, Rex is not normal. Rex is not average. He's extremely, extremely intelligent, comes from a very, very talented family. The dad is unique. The mom is unique. Both almost won Survivors on TV, the whole TV series Survivors. He's got a brother at Penn State and a sister at NYU. And I wouldn't underestimate that family in anything that they set their mind to do. I think they're very, very talented and very, very exceptional.
I guess where do you hope or expect kind of that intelligence, those experiences to show up on the field?
We're going to have to see. It's one thing to have all the mental knowledge, but whether you can physically get it done or to bring everybody up to your speed. The guy is extremely, extremely intelligent. When you talk to him, it's almost like you're talking to a junior coach. He does know football. He grew up in a football family. His dad played in the professional football league. Okay, his brother is a collegiate football player, and his sister at NYU may have been the best athlete in the family. So the guy is talented, the family's been talented, and we're going to have to wait and see what's going to happen.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Next, we go to Jacob Payne.
Hi, Coach. Without giving away too much of a competitive advantage, if it is Culpepper behind center going forward for the foreseeable future, how much does the offense change under his command?
Again, I think that we can run our offense with him, and we will continue to run our offense. We're going to always have wrinkles. You're going to have wrinkles to try to move the football. But as far as changing what we do, we shouldn't be drastically changing what we do with Rex behind the center.
So the intermediate plays had been a struggle recently. Do you see him having a better grasp for those short and medium plays?
I don't know about the short and medium plays being an issue. You know, I thought we had some short plays that went for big yardage against Duke. When you say the intermediate plays, I'm a little bit lost. You're referring to what specifically?
I'm saying, you know, you guys had 132 of your 286 yards on 2 plays. I'm talking about the shorter third down plays.
Oh, third down percentages is what you're saying. And when it comes down to third down, not only do you have to be able, once again, protect and make the right read with the quarterback position, but you also have to be able to make the catch. And there's no doubt that we've had difficulties in that situation on third down, and we need to get a lot better at that.
Thank you, Coach.
Mm-hmm.
Next, we'll go to Brad Klein.
Hey, Coach. You talk about the football family, and part of that is the parents. Is it hard on the family that the parents don't get to see their kids play in person this season so far?
What is your first name?
Brad.
Give me your first name again. What is it?
Brad.
Brad, I'm sorry.
Brad?
I missed it. Brad, I was literally thinking about that this morning. This is spooky. This is really spooky. I was literally thinking about all the sacrifices that the football players have to give up for 2020 and how other people get the opportunity to watch them on TV, and it relaxes them and it makes them feel better about the things that have gone on during the pandemic. I'm about to get to it. But for some of them, it's their first for the players, it's the first time in their lives that their families literally don't get to spend time with them, not only watching them play, but time with them after the games. And how weird is that to be able to be doing something that you've done your entire life and your family's been able to be involved with you in this journey. And yet in 2020, where it means so much to everyone else, the players are the ones that are giving up the sacrifices where they literally don't get to see their families. That was on my mind this morning at 6 a.m. when I was up and I was reading. And it's what a sacrifice for them. And unless you've been a player in a family where they get to watch you play all the time from when you're a little pee-wee guy, junior high school ball to high school ball to college, you really don't know how big of a sacrifice that is. Well, I spoke to the team last week about that 2020 is a year of sacrifices, and I'm really proud of the sacrifices not only they've given up for us to have this season, but the personal sacrifices they've given up by not necessarily seeing their family on weekends and stuff in order to keep our pod pure and free of the COVID-19 virus. So I hope I answered your question, but you really touched me right there. And that's why I wanted to know your first name. So thank you very much, Brad.
Well, thank you. And just to follow up to that, I mean, I guess it goes beyond just missing your parents, wanting to see them after a win, after a loss. And you have players that go down with injuries, and that's a moment where you're probably wanting some family there, your parents, your siblings, your loved ones, whoever. I mean, how does an injury add to the difficulty of not seeing your family pre and post game?
Well, first of all, it's huge, and there's a bunch of telephone calls going on and all across the country because we're trying to let the parents know that you're there, that you're with them, that their sons aren't alone, that you've got doctors and coaches and position coaches they can't fill in for them because there's nothing better than a parent, and there's definitely nothing better than mom. But, you're doing the best that you can do until A, they get a chance to see them later down the road, or B, they get an opportunity to see them before, pre, or post surgery.
Thanks a lot, Coach. Really appreciate it. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you, Brad.
We got time for 2 more. We'll start with Christian de Guzman.
Hey, Coach. I hate to follow up after that question, but unfortunately, my question is about the run defense. We saw it struggle against Duke, and we've seen it struggle against some of the other opponents earlier this season. After you've taken some time to digest the film a little bit, what do you think is the biggest issue with your defense's run defense, and what can be corrected for the upcoming games?
The biggest issue, we didn't meet the physicality of the Duke offensive line. You know, Duke did not look like a big team. You look like, okay, we match up well with these guys until you saw their offensive line. They were massive and they were big. And they constantly kept chopping wood on our D line. And we've got quicker, lighter guys that are able to make plays. But when that consistent pounding finally broke us down, we had a bunch of missed tackles, and you can't miss tackles if you're going to be able to keep them off balance and get off the football field. So we had some missed tackles on the back end. We had some missed tackles on the front end. We had some defensive linemen that got tired of running into things that are bigger than them. And that's the whole physicality part of it. That is when you start slowly getting tired or not hitting those gaps the way you're supposed to hit them, they're going to start bleeding yardage on you. There's one play that's very particular. I remember Duke, I think, was 4th and 1 or 3rd and 1, and it probably was 3rd and 1. And they handed the ball to the Duke running back, and we made a huge pile, and we hit him for like a -2 is where the pile stopped. But the guy wasn't down, the whistle wasn't blown, and before you know it, one of their big offensive linemen, I want to say 70-something, either 72 or 76, ran up behind that pile and hit it like a whale hitting the beach, and that whole pile fell forward from a -2 to a +1.5 for a first down. And you're looking at it, and you're like, my God, guys, we had 5-6 guys there. We got to be able to get that guy on the ground. But that constant pounding, and playing it to the very end until the whistle blows is the key. And you have to match the physicality throughout the game.
So is the missed tackles more so the physicality and the guys getting late and tired in the game, or is it a deeper fundamental issue that needs to be addressed in practice?
It's more of they're doing it early, but they have to continue to do it even when they get tired, even when they're banged up, even when they're bruised up. They have to continue to do it.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Last question, we'll go to Adam Hillman from the Daily Orange.
Hey, Coach. So, you mentioned earlier that, when you talk about Tommy, that there were some guys that were out for the year. Who are you referring to? And, I know you said on Saturday that Andre and Joie were out for a long period of time. Were you talking about them? Or who are you referring to?
Okay, I'm talking about Andre. And what was the other name you said?
Jawar.
We'll see. We'll see about Jawar.
And then as a follow-up, we've seen Garrett kind of come on, especially, as a starting cornerback in the interception a couple games ago. What did you see out of practice this summer, and how did he earn the starting job?
Garrett is just, he really came to us, and he was very, very consistent with his work. You could tell that he was out to get a job. One of those guys that there wasn't a lot of laughing and joking, which is okay on the football field, but he was extremely serious about getting a jump, getting a head start on everybody else. And from an athletic standpoint, he's very, very talented. I remember meeting his father and talking to him, and the recruiting battles were going on, and there was a bunch of places he could have went to, and his dad was like, he's going to come to Syracuse, he's going to play for you. And he said, hey, and don't give him anything, but he'll earn everything. You just wait and see. And his dad was right.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Coach. That concludes today's press conference. Media, if you haven't submitted your request for Tuesday night yet, please email me with a request for the Zoom link, and I'll send it out. Thanks.